Yo, yo, yo. What is up? What is up, YouTube boxing family and YouTube gaming family and everybody that loves sports and gaming on KRod7435's channel platform? Welcome to the show. I'll be having like my good old friend uh D-Hive, on the panel soon. So we'll get him on, and we're gonna be talking some boxing. We got a lot to talk about. I want to talk about Shakur Stevenson and everything else that's going on in the boxing world, and we're just gonna chop it up, and just basically talk about everything that's going on in the state of boxing. Everything's going well on my end. Nothing really new lately. Can't really complain too much. But yeah, man, boxing's been lit. I kind of wish Clarissa Shields fought on September 10th already. I was already looking forward for that fight, but with all that BS, with the Queen dying, in the UK and all that shit, that was just uncalled for, and I found that shit to be like a major excuse just to say like, oh well, the world has to like bow down to her death. Like no, dude, sports should not be, postponed for somebody else's death that doesn't, require, anybody's condolences to be shut down, for like a nation's economic progression. But yeah, either way, I was definitely looking forward to it. I was thinking it was going to be a pretty good fight. I was really looking forward to seeing Alicia, show me if she is, the truth or not, with her fight of Michaela Mayer. I believe that Alicia, has, the skills and abilities, to beat her. But I think either way, you know, like that fight of its own will be a very good high stakes 50-50 matchup. So, but I'm definitely favoring Alicia, defeating Michaela. But yeah, man, I'm definitely looking forward to it, man. Can't wait for it. A lot of good fights that will be on that card, all female card. And I hope Clarissa, she puts up the paws on Savannah Marshall. That's going to be really good. But yeah, let's get right into it, man. We got Shakur Stevenson missing weight for the first time of his career. Um, See now, I don't understand why people are getting upset that Shakur missed weight because this is nothing new in any combat sport. Primarily in boxing or wrestling, this is like the only thing that you'll ever see. Well, I'll even include, MMA, but it's like in MMA, you understand that there's certain limitations of what you could do in a weight cut. But I think that when you look at everything that's being put on the table, you don't really know what's going to happen coming into your fight. But in the sport of boxing and wrestling and MMA, every weight cut session is different depending on how much body fat and how much muscle your body has. And I think like the biggest problem with the sport of boxing is that when you weigh in day before, there's no like actual monitoring of a fighter's weight coming into a fight. Because this is like a bigger problem in female boxing. Am I honest? Like in my honest like opinion, compared to men's boxing. But I think either way, both genders still battle about the whole weight rehydration issue where for Amanda Serrano's case, when she fought Miriam Gutierrez, I believe she came in on weight if I'm not mistaken, but she like rehydrated to like 160, so she gained like what almost like 25 pounds, the day of that fight. And I'm not so sure if boxing should try to interject like a same day weigh in type of thing, if that might help, because that's what I used to do back in wrestling. And I will say that's not fun and it's really, really risky how your body's going to react coming into your fight or coming into the your match. So I think that's why day before weigh-ins are probably a lot more safer. But the problem with that is that you don't know how much weight that your opponent's going to be rehydrating and what type of supplements or what type of resources that they use to get up to their weight class to be fully rehydrated. So I think either way, it still plays like a major role in how much sacrifice that you put into your body to get down to a weight class that you're not so sure if you could actually make. But either way, like I don't believe in like the whole principality or I'll even just say like that. Hold on, like I would even say that like it's just like a weird system that people have with cutting weight, like depending on what their capabilities are. Hold on, give me 1 second. Hold on. Did that work? Hold on. Yeah, hold on. I'm just trying to get the StreamYard link. Uh, yeah, let me put it in the comments. That might be better. Yeah, like I'm trying to send like the link out to brother D have, and then we'll get right up on the show. But yeah, man. I just think weight cutting either way, like there should be some form of a proper weight, rehydration. Not like not like a clause per se, but maybe weight cutting should just be more hand leveled, with like a more proper um management, like behind it. So therefore both fighters can be properly represented. Yeah, hold on, give me 1 second. Uh Give me 1 second, y'all. Yeah, hold up. Give me a second. I put the hold on. I put the link in my YouTube. If they work. Hold on. Let me. Yeah, yeah. Let me try doing that. I'll just get this. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I don't know like what's going on right now. Yeah, like I'm trying to get like the link, for for people to join up on here, but I don't know what's going on per se because it's acting weird. Oh, here we go. Yo, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, yo, do you have you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Your voice is like a little bit low. I think.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll do the best we can. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. How's everything?
It's fine. Let's go.
Uh, yeah, man, it's been pretty stressful lately, but can't really complain. Um, I guess as far as topics go, do you want to chime in on that Shakur situation?
Well, I mean, personally, a lot of people were upset about that situation, which I don't know why. The reality is that he is just coming into his own stardom. He's recently been making money. He proposed to a chick and got her pregnant, so naturally that's going to bring weight gain. The reality is he became undisciplined because I don't want to hear any of this shit talking about, oh, he was going to go to 135 or whatever, whatever. No, he wasn't going to do that just yet. He was going to sweep up 130. He was talking about unifying with Joe Cordina and all kinds of other stuff. So people are just, I don't know why people are making excuses for him. He wasn't going to go to 135 this quickly, especially with the belts, with all Devin Haney's got going on. So, but whatever. People are doing whatever, making all kinds of bullshit excuses, believing whatever he says, and that's fine. But it just wasn't part of the plan. But he knew this fight that he was not going to make weight, and just said fuck it because he doesn't want to fight anyone else at 130, and that's okay too. But that's the reality of the situation. He didn't plan on moving up this early. He just realized that he was gonna miss weight and be stripped, and he didn't want to be fucking embarrassed and have to be in a situation where he'd have to win the belts back like David Benavidez.
Yeah, like it's funny that you say that because David Benavidez wanted to get his belt back, but the WBC didn't want to give him the opportunity to go for his titles. So,
Yeah, because it's
playing.
easy. It's easy to just say, "Oh, I was going to drop the titles anyway," as opposed to just, "Oh, I'm not professional. I'm undisciplined." Like, because if Shakur was going to stay in the weight class, that's what he'd have to do. He'd have to own not being professional. But this way, he can just say, I was going to go up and wait anyway."
Yeah, like pretty much my take is that if you could not make 130, then just drop the belts and just fight somebody at 135, or just own up to your mistakes and just say, look, I thought that I had everything, under control, but unfortunately things just didn't go my way. So naturally, you just outgrew, 130. But I
Yeah,
think
but
Shakur Stevenson understands that, you can't be doing that at a world title level because people will now look at you as a, like people will look at you as a target to try to race bait you. So they're gonna try to like use like other fighters that miss weight to say, oh well, Shakur's just like this guy. He's not disciplined. Blah blah blah. He's out there eating candies and doing some weird stuff, right?
I get it. But he's talking shit about outgrowing the class, and the dude he's fighting is almost 10 years older than him. So it's like, just stop. Like, stop it.
Yeah, Concesio. Yeah,
Yeah, he's fucking 32. I ain't trying to hear that bullshit. Like, fucking. Devin Haney has been complaining about making 135 for like 2, 3 years now. But guess what? Hasn't missed weight once.
yeah, that's true.
So I ain't trying to hear it. And also when he do come up to 135, I ain't trying to fucking. I don't want him on no Terrence Crawford diet of opponents. I need A level smoke off top. I,
Like
I'm
like
I'm tired.
Pitbull, Edwin De Los Santos.
No, I mean fucking Lomachenko, Devin Haney, Tank, those people like the tippy
Yeah,
top. Because I'm tired of hearing that he beats everybody and
yeah, he
he and
needs
his
to get these fisticuffs on.
and his best opponent is fucking Oscar Valdez. Like, I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm exhausted because what they're trying to do is they're trying to turn Shakur into the new Terrence Crawford, and I hate it. It makes me fucking sick.
Yeah, I agree. Um, I was like, listening in on a kind of local show about that, and everybody's trying to speculate to say that he's gonna move up and probably fight Devin Haney. But the thing is that Devin, he literally said like after Cambosos he wants either Loma or Tank. So my only concern is like, what if Shakur tries to come into that mix and say, well, let me try to, fight Devin, knowing that, they're both on top rank. And if Lomachenko doesn't want to fight Devin or Tank doesn't want to fight Devin, which I don't think either of them would want to take on Devin. Um, I think maybe Shakur might, come into that situation.
Well, my recommendation is that they just feed Lomachenko to Shakur because Lomachenko don't deserve shit no way, and then have Shakur v Devin for undisputed as Devin Haney's last fight, and then we could all move on with our lives and get that question answered. But the reality is Lomachenko's bitch ass already know what Shakur did to him in sparring, and he's not gonna want to pass up another opportunity for some belts because he's gonna retire pretty soon. Because there's not that many more people that he can actually whoop on at 135 that he hasn't already ran through already. So, you know, so he's trying to do that. So that's basically what he's gonna do. Lomachenko's gonna fight Haney. He's gonna fight him. That weak son of a bitch. He ducked his ass off this entire time, and now that this is his last shot at something major, he gonna fight him. He gonna bite the bullet and fight him. Because at least with Devin Haney, he feels like he might have a chance. Shakur, he might actually get knocked the fuck out. So yeah, no, he's not gonna do
Wait,
anything to Shakur.
Shakur might get knocked out by Tank.
No, I'm saying that Shakur might fuck around and knock Loma out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
Loma's a pressure fighter. All he's gonna do is run into a punch. So he knows that Devin Haney is probably the more winnable fight, and Lomachenko doesn't even want to fight Tank anymore. Tank at this point in his career knock Loma the fuck out. I don't even. I really
yeah.
don't.
Gervonta, he's just like evolved into like a very dangerous, style matchup for Lomachenko.
Yeah, and I think Tank will beat Shakur too. So that's just me though.
Yeah, because now that I look at Shakur, I'm really thinking like if Shakur is trying to act like Terrence Crawford now, or he's just that type of guy who's trying to imitate like a Floyd Mayweather type of personality, but it's like like it's not like a finished product because it's like Shakur, like he's trying to like believe that he's gonna beat all these guys, but it's like okay, well, if that's not the case, then why not go after all the big fish right now and stop staying at a division that's not gonna make you notable.
Oh, my thing is, you can do that, or you could just run over everybody down there, become undisputed, and then move up, and then you'll be exactly like Terrence Crawford. But like I said, he got. I don't know if they're married yet, but he got a woman, got her pregnant, got that undisciplined, weight, and now he's like, oh well, I'm just gonna move up and weight because I clearly can't make the weight. It's like, bro, you were 1.6 pounds off. Your lazy ass could make the weight. You just fucked up. It's okay. Just, just admit it. Like, stop acting like a woman and just making all these excuses. Like, just admit it. You miss weight. It's okay. Move on.
Yeah, but it's like Shakur doesn't want to act like he wasn't in the wrong, but it's like you had all this time heading into this camp, and like pretty much like what got me really upset was that he said this was the best camp that he's ever had. But if this was your best camp, then why were you making up all these weird accusations to say like, oh well, after this fight, I want to go up to 135 and challenge all the big names. But it's like you know like to me, like it makes me think like he was overlooking Conceição, and he wasn't really putting all of his focus into Conceição before looking at 135.
Personally, I hope he is overlooking Conceição because Conceição is a very, he's an Olympic
Yeah,
gold
he's a
medal.
very difficult matchup.
Well, he's an Olympic gold medalist. He can't punch, but he throws a lot of punches. He's very quick. He can take a decent amount of punishment. And in my opinion, he beat Valdez. I mean, honestly, the only thing that Conceição doesn't have going for him is the fact that he's orthodox. If Conceição was a southpaw, I'm like he would
Oh
have.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because Shakur, I don't know what it is about everybody that's around Terrence Crawford, but for some reason they can't coach against southpaws, even though those motherfuckers are southpaws. Like Terrence Crawford is a southpaw in denial. James Herring is a fucking southpaw. He's got his ass beat by three southpaws, and the one and that famous and that famous loss that Shakur has in the Olympics was against Robesi Ramirez,
yeah. Robesi Ramirez,
who is a southpaw. So if Conceição was a southpaw, shit, I might actually
dude.
shit.
That's why, honestly, that's why that I say Southpaw is just run boxing because if you just look at the pattern, almost every fighter that's so good at fighting Southpaw, 9 times out of 10, a Southpaw doesn't want to fight another Southpaw, which is very respectable because if you don't fight a lot of Southpaws in your career, but once you come up to the highest level and you start facing like really dangerous level opposition names in the Southpaw stance, those are very difficult fights to try to win because that southpaw understands how you move, they understand how you read, they understand how you, plant, like your punches down. So it's like, imagine that, of you knowing everything of what you do now, but it's like that person, thinks just as good as you, and you have more pressure on your hands because you don't know how, like, you don't know how to counter those same abilities that you're good at, right?
Well, the reality is that even southpaws need southpaw fighting experience because southpaws are just rare. Most people are not southpaws because it doesn't feel right. So when you are a southpaw, you do need experience fighting southpaws. And if you don't have requisite experience fighting southpaws, you're going to struggle like an orthodox fighter because you have to change up where you normally throw your shots. That's why that's another reason why Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. is a closer fight than a lot of people think because how many southpaws, genuine southpaws, has Terrence Crawford really fought? I don't like. I can't
Not
think
that
of any.
many.
Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head. But usually, when he's fighting an orthodox fighter, he just turns southpaw and gets all the advantages. But with Errol Spence Jr., that's not going to happen. Errol Spence Jr. has spent most of his career fighting orthodox fighters, and I don't know how many southpaws he's fought either. So it's just going to be an interesting matchup. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true. That's very true. Like, I never thought of it like that.
yeah, it's the truth.
Yeah.
Most people assume that because you're a southpaw, you know how to fight a southpaw. That's not true.
No.
The one benefit of being a southpaw is that most other fighters are orthodox. So you learn how to hit them, and they don't know how to hit you.
Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
like, think about it with, Jerron Ennis. Like, Jerron Ennis, in my opinion, he's a southpaw, but he's like a very unorthodox switch hitting southpaw. So it's like
No, Geron.
that's almost in like the Marvin Hagler, school, of fighting, right?
No, Marvin Hagler is a righty, but he got turned southpaw by his coach because he preferred to punch harder with his jab hand. Geron Ennis is an orthodox fighter that can legitimately fight both ways.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because like I've seen Jerron Ennis's amateur clips, and most of his fights have portrayed him fighting southpaw. So I mean, does he just think that fighting southpaw is just his natural skill, or does he just go back to orthodox, whenever he feels like it?
when the amateurs, again, and that's probably something he learned from the amateurs because most people are orthodox. So he thought that being a southpaw would give him an advantage, and for a while it did. But until he ran up against Gary Antron Russell, who's a natural southpaw, and, and he got his ass beat.
Yep, he got beat up.
That's why, as a professional, he only switches southpaw when he sees an advantage and remains orthodox because that's how he knows how to actually fight.
Yeah,
And again, that's what's going to make Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Crawford interesting because Terrence Crawford is a southpaw in denial, whereas Errol Spence is an actual southpaw and he only fights that way.
yeah. He basically only fights like one way,
Yeah,
but
it's better to master one thing than it's better to master one thing than master no things.
yeah. As far as like Shakur's, fight with Conceição, how do you like, how do you see this fight going down?
I mean, shit, it's boxing, so anything can happen. But I think Shakur is going to get a decision. How wide it is up to him and how he fights. But I hope Conceição doesn't come to lay down. I hope Conceição comes in with his best efforts, gets inside, throws as many punches as humanly possible, and tries to break through that defense. Because the good thing, one of the liabilities about Shakur and Errol Spence Jr. because they both fight similar is they fight in a very rhythmic pattern. But the thing about rhythm is that rhythm can be timed. Because if you watch Shakur and Errol Spence fight, they throw the same punches, starting with and ending with the jab, and then they throw the same combinations, mixing up the head and body. If you can time that and prioritize your overhand rights, blocking the jab lane and pressing them against the ropes to get your punches off, you can make things happen. So I hope Conceição comes and he brings all his anger and frustration and make this an interesting fight. But I think Shakur's still gonna get it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Conceição, he's gonna come to fight, and I think he's actually gonna surprise Shakur with some good shots. But if Shakur comes into that fight very hyper focused and he has like a chip on his shoulder, I think Shakur is gonna get a decision. But like I don't know, like I think Conceição he might have the ability to hurt him because from the from the physical standpoint he looks way bigger than Shakur. I don't know if you can like agree with that.
Yeah, no, I believe he has the height and reach advantage, but it's all gonna come in. It's all gonna come into a situation of where if he can land the punches, because you can't just punch Shakur. He's not gonna let you do all that. So he has to be in a position where he's actually effective in scoring points. Because the worst case scenario is he goes out there guns blazing, trying to do something for the first 5 rounds, and gets tired, and then Shakur just starts beating his ass for the rest of the fight. Then he might even get stopped. So you know.
Yeah, because I'm not super duper high on Conceição because I actually thought he lost one of his previous fights against that Louis Correa guy that
Oh, you
you
thought
know
he lost that?
yeah, because he got dropped multiple times, right, in that fight. And he just looked very disgruntled in that fight because Louis, he's like a really big puncher, but he's not like the biggest puncher out of all punchers at 130. But that fight just made me think of Conceição being very vulnerable to a lot of heavy shots, especially people that give him pressure.
Hmm. Well, shit. Maybe he took that learning experience and used that on Valdez because he handled him pretty easily.
Yeah, 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 he's gotten way better from that fight in particular. But I think with the Shakur Stevenson fight, he's not gonna come in really like super duper crazy. But I think the fight is going to be a lot more closer than for what people try to expect it to be. And I mean, if Conceição makes this fight very close to the point where he could potentially win, that's going to be very shocking because it's going to make me think that Shakur, he's not either the fighter that people try to make him out to be, where people try to say he's like this next Floyd Mayweather type fighter, like to which I don't think he is. But either way, like if you lose to a guy like Conceição, does that mean your career is tainted, or does that mean that you just need to slow down?
Mhm. Well, no. I mean, your career's not tainted. A loss is a loss. But to start off from the beginning, Conceição cannot box Shakur Stevenson. I can't stand whenever people see that someone is clearly a superior boxer and then they try to do what they do best. And it's like, no, you need to do the opposite of that. You need to go in trying to punch him and pressure him to where his boxing skill can't work. Because boxers they rely on a lot of they rely like traditional boxing purists rely on a lot of textbook moves. So in order to have any sort of advantage, you have to get the textbook away from them and go in buck wild, i.e., Cesar Chavez Sr. You know,
Yep.
but if he were to lose, it would not taint his career. He lost to an Olympic gold medalist who beat his best win, so it wouldn't taint his career. But if he does lose, I'm gonna be talking shit. I'm gonna be like, y'all need to calm the fuck down on who y'all hype up. No, bro, because I get so tired.
Be
Like,
hyping this.
I understand that ESPN has people in a chokehold because that's how a lot of people get their sports news. But those motherfuckers have an agenda, okay? And I'm fucking tired of all these people coming out of fucking ESPN talking about, oh, they fucking wash everybody ever, and then they haven't fought shit. Like look at what they're saying about Keyshawn. Keyshawn has 5 fucking fights, and they're already like, "Oh my god, he could
Oh,
smoke
look at
Devin
his win
Haney."
loss record ratio. That's
Yeah,
an
man, shut the fuck up. Don't nobody care about that bullshit. He has 5 fucking fights. He ain't shit. He ain't shit, and we don't know if he's gonna be shit. But stop talking about him like he annihilates everybody based off of 5 fights. And if you really feel that way, then match him up with Devin Haney right the fuck now and see what happens. If he wins, I'll shut up forever. But if he gets fucking embarrassed, I don't want to hear from y'all no more.
Man, I want to see Keyshawn get beat up by Isaac Pitbull Cruz and that Mexican kid that I like. He's this Californian fighter. I think his name is
Murataya.
Ernesto. Yeah. Like I like to see him in Murataya, but there's this other guy that a lot of people don't know too much about. His name is Ernesto Tito Mercado. That's that guy that's like what 8-0, right?
Mm,
Or I think he's 7-0, but he fights at lightweight. He's been calling out Keyshawn Davis for quite a while. They know each other from the amateurs.
yeah, like I'm not saying that Shakur and Keyshawn are not everything that people are saying. All I'm saying is I would like to see it. Okay, people are still talking shit about Devin Haney now, and he's the undisputed lightweight king, talking about he needs to prove himself. But fucking Keyshawn and Shakur don't. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Yeah, but it's like this is where let the promotional politics play let the really big role because it's like they say that top ranked fighters are such good fighters, but it's like when they get tested by like people that are high level that are not on their side of the street, then that clearly shows that they're not like the best fighters. Because if ESPN are ranking these fighters to be like high stakes, level fighters where they're gonna just take over multiple divisions and become world beaters, then like you said, like these guys should be matched up tough. They shouldn't be matched up with low level like opposition. And I've been to like two top rank fights before, and to my honest opinion, I think the level of matchmaking is absolutely garbage. I don't know if you can like agree, but it's like when you go to like a top rank fight, like you're not really seeing good competition go up against each other. Like it's usually like a fight where you go see, like a good fighter that you like, but it seems like, in my opinion, that Top Rank is selling a unfinished product to make them seem like that they're going to be like the next big thing, but they're not really being tested to be at that, high level.
I mean, at the beginning of everyone's career, the matchmaking is favorable to the fighter, especially if they have above average talent, and that's fine. But after a point where it starts to get, 15 and 0, 12 and 0, 20 and 0, whatever, like they need to go ahead and start putting them in some situations where we could actually see what's what. And another thing is that Top Rank only goes out of their way to make fights in which they're confident that, especially when it comes to their champions, in which they're confident that the belts are going to stay in house. So you notice how with certain fights being made, the politics don't matter, but then other times the politics do matter. So well, let me get some good examples
Yeah,
here. Um, I'm trying to think like for example, when Jose Pedraza went from PBC to Top Rank, that wasn't an issue, right?
yeah,
Like so, like they only like it only gets political when it comes for certain fighters. Like, oh, for Devin Haney, we need him to be signed for this shit. But but hmm, I'm trying to think of what other fighters that they had. Oh, like Subra Matias. Subra Matias went from Top Rank to PBC.
yeah.
So
Subriel Matias. I thought he was always PBC.
no, he killed Dadashev on Top Rank.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
He did that. Yep.
yeah. So they only care about making fights when it's advantageous. Like they were trying to say that it wasn't because Devin Haney wasn't. Well, actually, yeah, they said it was because Devin Haney signed to the wrong promoter, and why he couldn't get the Lomachenko fight. And I'm like, okay, so there should be no excuse why he shouldn't get it now then. And even then they were talking about potentially making fights with Shakur and Joe Cordina, and Joe Cordina is on fucking DAZN. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
he's on Matchroom.
Yeah, he's on Matchroom. So yeah, so they have no issue making fights in which they think that their person is most likely gonna reign supreme. Like look at Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury just fought fucking Dillian White.
Yeah, Dillian
Dill-
White. He's a Matchroom guy.
yeah, Dillian White ain't no top rank. But that's because Tyson Fury watches him, so that's easy. Just like they were talking about making Tyson Fury versus AJ. They have no problem making fights in which they think their guy is gonna win. And don't tell me it's not. Don't tell me it's about money, because Tank will be the highest payday for any of their fucking lightweights, and they ain't letting nobody fight Tank because Tank will fucking destroy them.
Yeah,
So I just get tired. I get tired of all this lame shit. They have no problem having a relationship with the fucking Matchroom, but when it comes to PBC or certain fighters on Matchroom, it's an issue. Like Dillian White didn't have to join Top Rank to get a Tyson Fury title shot.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's
But
because they
I
need.
just hate it where people say that PBC fighters are only limited to fight their own stable mates in the fighting stable, but that's not true because PBC is not a limited, stable of fighters that just fight one another. They fight people from like all over, but the world. Where if Al Heyman sees like a good interest in you, he's gonna call you up and be like, "Hey, look, we could work with you, and if you are world title level, then guess what? We're gonna put you up in there. Look at Tim Zoo. He got matched up, with Terrell Gaucher, but he could have been matched up with Jason Rosario, Erickson Lubin. He could have been matched up with anybody, else at but the 154-pound division. But it's
Yeah,
like to put him up with Terrell Gaucher, like that just clearly shows that PBC, they don't care where your promotional stable is. If Al Heyman wants to put you in the mix with all the guys, then he's gonna make those fights happen. And
like
um,
like like
I'll,
they sent Andy Ruiz. They sent Andy Ruiz to be sacrificed to AJ, and that shit went backwards. They sent they sent multiple fighters to lose to Terrence Crawford. They had no problem fighting PBC fighters then. That's because they knew Terrence Crawford would wash their ass.
yeah,
So and then fucking oh no, and then with Lamont Roach, he was on Top Rank, and then he went to Matchroom. Okay, so not Lamont Roach. But yeah, there have been multiple situations where PBC, like they sent Wilder to fight Fury. So there have been multiple situations in which PBC has sent fighters to both Top Rank and fucking Matchroom. But like it hasn't, the shit hasn't been reciprocated. Like look at what's his name?
I was also gonna say, take a look at Joseph Adorno. He went from top rank to PBC, and well, I'm not sure if he signed with them, but he just fought on that Showbox card, right?
Yeah, I mean look at what's his name? Look at Hector Garcia versus Roger Gutierrez. Roger Gutierrez won his
Yeah,
fight
yep,
on Matchroom.
yeah. Roger Gutierrez, he's on Matchroom,
Yeah,
so
so all the promotional BS is just some bullshit that people make up as an excuse. Because if you really want to make a fight and you really want to make money, all two fighters gotta say is, "I'm not fighting nobody else if I fight this person," and then they'll find a way to get the deal done. It's just like what people say Wilder and AJ didn't get made. Oh, but Wilder and Fury can get. I mean, but fucking AJ and Fury could get made. Get the fuck out of here, man. Like it's just I get tired of people hiding behind that fucking garbage. It's just assholes wanting to make money and wanting to make sure that titles stay in their little company.
yeah. But
That's
it's
all.
just sad because it's like you know if like real hardcore boxing fans want to see the best fights, but the casuals don't want to see the best fights, then there needs to be like a massive divide between the hardcores and the casuals. And fighters who want to get paid to actually fight the best, they should be given their flowers for their hardworking success. And I think like I don't know if it should be like a thing, but maybe like boxers should start creating some form of like their own how should I say, like I don't know, like I think like like sooner than later, when matchmaking and boxing does end up getting a little bit easier to make fights, I think boxers should have fights made through the fans and not leave it to a promoter. Because like obviously I'm in favor of seeing boxing being revolutionized around like a universal type of league system, but I think like even if we want to still have like free agency matchmaking, like there needs to be like a certain level where the matchmaking needs to be high level matchmaking, but it's like like it's like developmental matchmaking, kind of like what PVC does, but just amp it up little by little, and it's like that should be all like demanded by the fans. I don't know if that's like a good idea or not.
Well, I mean, we've already talked about that. The reason why promoters exist is simply because of money. In order to incentivize people to box at a high level because of the risk involved, there has to be a high reward also involved, or else the best people won't do it. People do the things that they're best at and want to become the best at something because there's going to be a payoff at the end of the rainbow. Most regular people aren't going to collectively crowdfund lots of big fights. Like Mayweather couldn't have made hundreds of gajillions of dollars if there wasn't a promoter there with the initial startup costs. He could have made a decent amount of coin, but most people aren't going to just crowdfund boxing like that. Especially now that streaming platforms are more available and as the economy gets more difficult, people aren't going to pay for boxing like they used to. That's going to be in decline. So that's why promoters are still necessary. But the reality is, it's up to the individual boxers to want to take on the challenges. And it's difficult because when you have people like Canelo, when you have people like Jaime Munguia, when you have people like Tank getting all this money fighting low risk fights in a sport where you could die, other people see that and they're like, shit, I want that. If he's not fighting the best, I shouldn't have to fight the best. That's
Shit, fucking YouTubers are now getting paid big money just having those creator influencer battles, right?
yeah, precisely. And in fact, that's one of the things that Tank even said. Tank said that, well, they're saying I'm not fighting anybody, but they're not fighting anybody either. So that's the logic that Tank uses. Tank is like, if
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna,
fight as a bum, I fight as a bum.
even though he wasn't really correct on that, and like and the only and and the unfortunate reality is that because a lot of boxers come from poverty, it's hard to get, legitimately good fights. Like that's why Deontay Wilder and Devin Haney are always pushing for the best fights because at this point in their careers, they're both used to having money. They're already used to having money, so they don't. So they just fight because they love it and they want to build legacy as fighters. That's why they're always ready to fight the best. Whereas people like Tank, that come from like complete abject poverty, like it's all exclusively about money. you
Yeah,
know. So he doesn't really care. He doesn't really care if he fights the best or if his legacy is good. He's just about not being poor anymore. He spent too much time around fucking Mayweather and Broner to where all they care about is getting money and getting hoes and all that stuff.
yeah,
No,
that's just so
that's just no. It is what it is. It's just about being a celebrity. Whereas Devin Haney,
celebrity.
yeah, whereas Devin Haney and Wilder, they're already used to having so much money. It's just about fighting. It's just about fighting, and that's why they're always ready to fight whoever, whenever, while everybody else got to think about some shit. Oh, it gotta make sense. I don't know,
Yeah,
you know. And like, and it's the same with Jerron Ennis. Like Jerron Ennis, he hasn't done anything but fight. His father fought, all his brothers fought. He literally doesn't know any other lifestyle but fighting. That's why he fights. Now the money, like he's already made like over $1 million in his career thus far. So the money is obviously an incentive, but that's just he's programmed to only fight. That's all he does. You know.
yeah, I
So
can, I can see that.
so you
But it's like you can tell how like a fighter moves just by like what they do outside of the ring. So it's like like Walder and Devin, like they most likely listen to us because it's like they understand like what we want out of them. But it's like with Gervonta and Terrence Crawford, like they obviously don't care what we think because it's like they don't want to give us what we pay for, and it's like that's like a lot of money being invested into their careers, and it's like they don't understand that we can pull the plug on them at any given second. But it's like I'm just curious of like why aren't they going more downhill compared to Devin and Deontay Wilder? Like they should be glorified more at this point.
Well, um, well, I mean, people have their reasons, but I think the reality is that a lot of people, especially stands, like people who stand fighters, they see Wilder and Devin Haney as threats to their favorites. Like that's like when Wilder was talking about fighting Usyk, people got concerned. It's like, yeah, there's a realistic possibility he'll knock Usyk the fuck out. Usyk is not Usyk is not 6'9", 300 pounds and on a bunch of steroids. So that same right hand that dropped Fury multiple times, it'll most likely knock Usyk the fuck out. So, you know, that is what it is. And it's the same with Devin Haney. People are concerned that Devin Haney might beat Tank. People are concerned that Devin Haney might beat Shakur Stevenson. That he might go to 140 and beat up Josh Taylor. So it's like, I better just talk shit about him so I can, say the fights aren't going to get made. It's like what they did to Jamal Charlo at 160. Oh, because I don't want him to fight Canelo, so I'll just talk shit, say he doesn't deserve it. It's the same thing.
Yeah, speaking of Canelo, how did you think about Canelo and Triple G?
Mm, that shit was whack. Like the fight was trash. Like, and I wish I would have known that Canelo, I guess, injured his left hand. But what's stupid is that he spent the entire fight trying to land left hooks. So I'm like, all right, whatever. But yeah, it was boring. Canelo didn't press the action. He was in there fighting like he was, fighting a fresh Triple G. Triple G looked every bit of 40. So I don't really care what the fuck those two dudes do with their
Yeah,
lives. But I mean, Triple G, if he's talking shit like he's gonna keep fighting, he needs to come back and fight Jamal Charlo and get the ass whooping that he's owed.
yeah. I thought of that fight to be an absolute robbery, just simply for the amount of money that they made and just like the poor performances that they both had. Like it felt like two old, retired, men just going at it.
I mean, well, they didn't. They robbed the zone. Like Eddie Hearn is consistently losing money, so I don't care. That's why he just had to get a bailout from a billionaire because he's bad at managing the company. He thinks like you
Yeah,
he's just guaranteeing them too much money. It's like, why are you guaranteeing dudes fucking $100 million for what? They've already fought twice. And then like and then what's worse is that the dude that he's fighting is 40 years old, and the betting odds ain't gonna be shit because people expect him to win. So it's just like, this is I don't give a fuck. I hope they go under.
yeah. I just figured I'd get like your take on it because I was just like laughing that about that Dan Raphael tweet that somebody had showed to me through word of mouth. He said that the pay-per-view numbers for Canelo and Triple G were horrible. They were at like what, like 500,000 buys, to which I found that so hard to believe.
I I didn't even read that stupid shit because I don't even care. I don't even care what the numbers did. I'm pretty sure that whatever they paid those two bozos didn't it wasn't covered on the back end, so they probably lost money. But I didn't buy it, so I don't give a fuck. I I don't I literally don't even care. Like
Yeah,
until those dudes are fighting somebody that I'm actually interested in them fighting, I'm not gonna give a shit about either one of them. Shit, and Canelo's talking shit about rest. I'm like, motherfucker, you just fought an old man that you already beat. That was rest. The hell you think this was?
um how do you see the next steps for 168 to progress? Do you think Canelo is going to go through like a Josh Taylor type of thing where he's going to end up vacating if he doesn't want to fight his mandatories?
I mean, that depends if they actually force him to fight a mandatory because you know how that bullshit works. Sanctioning bodies just make up rules on the spot. But I mean, people are talking about him holding up the division for like another year and a half or two, and then coming back and fighting John Ryder. And I'm just like, man, I'm like, bro, just get the fuck on. Like, yeah, just
Yeah,
fucking,
just yeah,
you
just like fucking leave, man.
yeah, you just hold up the division for nothing. Like, ugh, no.
Yeah,
It's whatever.
Yeah, because at this point, Canelo, like, if he's gonna go on like another European tour, at this point, it's just pretty much done.
My thing is, if you're gonna go on a European tour, um, fight better be.
Oh yeah, but way better beer if he's not European.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
basically Chechnyan.
Eh, okay, Central Asian, close enough.
Hey
But yeah,
man, he's
no.
like a Middle Eastern.
But yeah, no. Fight better be. He's basically white. He lives in
White.
Canada. Yeah,
I'm a white Arab.
he's basically white. He lives in Canada. He's undefeated. He's a champion. These are all things that Canelo usually goes for. So go ahead. He's a white undefeated champion. Go ahead and fight him. Because since you were talking shit, because you don't want to rematch Bivol, you you don't want to fight Benavidez, you don't want to fight Charlo, and and I don't know if the rematch with Bivol's going to take place at 168, but Bivol's fighting Zerto or whatever. So fuck it, go ahead and fight Beterbiev if that's how you feel.
How do you see that between Bivol and Zerto?
Bivol beat Zerto. Zerto's not good. Like I
Yeah,
mean,
I think Bivol will stop him.
yeah, I think if Zerto comes doing all that ridiculous dumb shit he normally does and try to press Bivol and force Bivol to take it up a notch, he'll get himself knocked out. But yeah, Zerto is not good. I don't know why people assume that Zerto is like this uber master because he's 46-0. He's fought trash. His whole fucking career is trash.
Yeah, because I had like a bunch of like weird, racist, Mexican Zerto fans trying to tell me that Zerto would beat Bivol and Bivol doesn't have like enough power to hurt him. But it's like, when have we seen Zerto hurt anybody like Bivol? Like, I don't think I've ever seen him in there with like a pure boxer puncher.
But the thing is, they just finished saying that dumb shit about Canelo because Bivol hadn't got his last six fights all went the distance. People said that he wasn't gonna beat Canelo. We saw how that shit turned out. Just
Yeah,
Zerto, Zerto is just a big southpaw, and he's not even a good southpaw. He's gonna get
yeah, he's not a decorated southpaw.
yeah, he's gonna get beat up.
Yeah, he's like a very uneducated southpaw.
Yeah, I mean, shit. He almost got smoked by fucking like one of the last dudes he fought was that Cuban UNL Gonzalez.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I was just about to say that, but on top of that, if you look at the fight previous, to that, he was getting cooked, on in that fight too.
Yeah. So I don't know why people are like. I mean, Zerto beating Canelo is more realistic than him beating Bivol. Bivol gonna beat his ass.
Yeah, yeah. I just think at this point, like a lot of these garbage fighters need to be taken out because now, I don't know if you heard through the news in the welterweight division, but I believe Virgil Ortiz is now going to fight Emantas Stanionis next.
I don't know if that's real. That smells like bullshit to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because why would he? What the fuck? You telling me you you would rather fight fucking Stanionis for a regular than fight Spencer Crawford for an actual title? Because there's a very realistic possibility that Stanionis will beat his ass.
Yeah, because if he does that and Stanionis knocks him smooth the hell out, I'm going to be laughing like my butt off.
Don't get me wrong. I guess I'm favoring Virgil, but Stanionis is not a hoe. Like that fight is more than likely. I mean, I don't know if
Dude,
it's gonna be.
Stanionis, he's a dog, bro.
Yeah, like
He's a
Stanionis.
dragon mixed with a dog.
Yeah, like it literally makes no sense for them to take and especially I especially don't believe it because they didn't want to fight David Avenese.
Dude, that's another bit. Honestly, I won't be surprised if David Avenese ends up facing probably Cody Crowley because that's probably going to be like the next step, or maybe Keith Thurman. I'm not too sure because like I
Nah,
don't
Avenese,
think nobody's gonna.
Keith Thurman will knock Avenese in the fuck out. I don't think he's gonna do all that.
Yeah. But I'm just like curious of like what's gonna happen, in the welterweight division because obviously, without the whole, Spence and Crawford stuff not being like fully, finalized, it's like, I just feel like at this point, Errol Spence is probably going to end up vacating his titles, or you know, I mean, I don't know. Like, do you think Errol Spence is going to move up, or do you think he's going to make one final title defense and then move up to 154?
Well, I heard that there was a rematch clause situation, so I am going to imagine that if he might have to fight Terrence Crawford again, or we might get a trilogy. But if the fight is made, Terrence Crawford will be his final opponent at 147. I don't, and honestly, there's no incentive to stick around at 147 because it's getting dangerous around this bitch, and he's getting old, and he's bitching about making weight. So I strongly believe that Terrence Crawford will be his final fight at 147 if that fight gets made.
Yeah, I think, like, honestly, like, part of me wants to believe that Spence and Crawford is nearing, but if that fight doesn't get made for whatever reason that may happen out of the speculation, I would like to see Errol Spence make one final, title defense between either Keith Thurman or maybe Jaron Ennis, and then just go ahead and go right up to 154 and just get undisputed there if Crawford's not going to comply.
Well, nah, Keith Thurman don't deserve shit. Uh, I rather him, I rather him smoke Virgil while Terrence Crawford deals with Boots.
Oh yeah, Virgil Ortiz. Yeah, that's like an easy victory.
I don't think it'll be easy, but I think they can get it done.
I mean, like, it'll be like a brutal beatdown.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an easy fight for Spence. Spence is gonna get hurt, but I think he'll beat up Virgil. And then Terrence Crawford, we'll see how he does with John Ennis.
Yeah, and I don't know how the WBO is gonna respond with that, because like isn't Duran Ennis like number two or number one?
Well, he's number two, but it's the same thing they just did with Sean Porter. Virgil Ortiz was the number one for the WBO. They mandated Sean Porter because Virgil Ortiz was acting like a little bitch. So if Virgil Ortiz goes to fight Spence, then the only other person available for Crawford is Boots.
Yep.
And like I said, Thurman don't deserve shit. He needs to Thurman should fight Stanionis or some shit and prove that he's still worth a damn. Because Thurman, he fucking got married and took 2 years off, and now he's talking about, oh, I deserve a shot. Like, shut the fuck up, Thurman. You don't deserve shit.
Yeah, it's been like 7 months since Keith Thurman fought. That's just, man, that's so sad, man. Like, Keith Thurman is like literally sitting on the shelf for nothing.
Yeah, Thurman was supposed to come back and sacrifice himself to Boots, but instead he chose to fight fucking somebody that a featherweight knocked out. Like, I ain't trying to hear shit from Thurman. He don't deserve no fucking 3 billion vacation.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, man, like, after Errol Spence and Crawford situation's over, like, the welterweight division's probably going to be eaten up by Jaron Ennis, and then I'll probably throw in maybe possibly Virgil Ortiz, but I don't think so. But I'll probably say maybe Stanionis, and then maybe Rashidi Ellis. He might be up there, but I mean, 147 is pretty, like, you know of like, it's like at a stalemate right now until it gets hot again.
Well, it's all a matter of if the right fights are being made. Like, Virgil Ortiz has already made it very clear that he doesn't want to fight John Ennis, so that fight probably won't get made. But yeah, no, everybody else is good to go. If Rashidi can make weight, his last fight was at like 159 or some crazy shit. So I don't know if Rashidi could actually make 147. But yeah, Thurman bitch ass is over there. We got we got Crowley, we got Allen. We have Ellis if he can make weight. Um, we have we got
Brian Norman, maybe.
yeah, we got Brian Nome, we got Ugas, we got Castillo Clayton, and also some of these bitch dudes from 140 that ain't doing shit can come up and get some. Like, Teofimo Lopez, mine as well. Subram Matias, if he gets bored down there, he can come up. Batir Akhmedov, Like
Yeah,
all these,
Bacteriac made of.
yeah, all these dudes that are clearly huge and not getting any chances at 140. Bring your ass up some. And also, there's one dude, and then Butayev is still up there, so he's also a threat. Um, but um, but also the guy who beat Butayev, but is a steroid cheat, is Alexander Vespucci, and people are not talking about him, but he's the top 10 for the WBC, and he's a steroid cheat, but he's undefeated. He's a very good fighter, so he's somebody that people shouldn't be sleeping on because he beat Butayev ass.
What's the fighter's name?
Alexander Vespucci.
Oh yeah. Alexander Besputin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was on Top Rank, and they were trying to make him into a Lomachenko. They were like, "Oh, this is the guy. This is our Lomachenko." And then he kind of fell off. And then after the steroid situation,
yeah, Besputin. He's a bum.
this was not a bump.
Yeah, but I mean, like after you get caught cheating, it's like that doesn't make you look any better.
Oh no, he is a steroid cheat, but he's an excellent fighter. And he's currently like ranked
Oh
20th
yeah,
out.
yeah. So he got skills, but he just want to beat dudes up by cheating.
Yeah, absolutely. Like for example, Best Buden will get in here, and like he'll probably he already beat Butayev, but he popped for steroids. Like shit, he'll give Virgil a tough ass fight. To be honest.
Yeah, I think he would give us, Dan Jonas a very tough fight too.
Nah, I think Thanos too big. He would just fight him the same way he fought Butayev.
Yeah, I mean he hasn't been really active lately. He's been very quiet, right?
Yeah, he hasn't been able to get any real fights, and that's tragic. His management needs to step shit up because he's a tough ass dude. He's been back fighting in Russia ever since he popped dirty for fucking steroids, and he had one fight last year in March. So I don't know. He's
Oh
like,
yeah. That was back in March of last year.
yeah, he's 14-0, and yeah, he needs to make some moves because he's fucking 31 years old and ain't fought shit. But Butayev.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
And he fought Breeze Prescott, which big
Yeah, I mean like we'll find out. Um, I was gonna probably ask like one more thing before we wrap up. What's the whole, deal with the David Benavidez situation of him and Canelo Alvarez, where Canelo says, he doesn't want to fight no more Mexicans.
deal. I mean, there's not a situation to even discuss. Canelo Alvarez has made it clear that there are certain people he is not going to fight. And I think the sooner we accept that, the sooner we can just move the fuck on and stop talking about it. Because he's not going to fight David Benavidez. He's not going to fight Charlo. He's not going to fight David Murrow Jr. He's not going to fight Beterbiev. Like, he's not going to fight these fucking people. I don't even think he's going to rematch Bivol because what would be different? What would be different? He would get his ass whooped the same way he got his ass whooped the first time. Like, there's just like Canelo Alvarez is coming to terms with his skill level. And that's just the reality of the situation. He's going through the same thing AJ was going through. And the rest of his career is going to have to be carefully managed or he's going to get beat the hell up.
Yeah, I
So,
agree, man.
yeah, so
Um,
to me, David Benavidez has no situation. And to be quite honest, when Andre and Charlo couldn't get any fights, everybody told them to move up. Why is David Benavidez's fat ass not getting the same treatment? Move your fat ass up.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he's sitting over there fucking crying without a belt. Stop acting like a bitch and move up and wait.
Yeah, just move up to 175.
Yeah, but much like what's his name, Fundora, he's afraid of getting his ass beat.
Yeah, I was also gonna ask about 175. What was the whole deal with Joshua Buatsi being pulled out of the IBF Eliminator with Jean Pascal?
Boatsy wasn't pulled. He didn't want to fight Pascal because he saw what I saw. He
Oh man, that's a duck.
yeah, he ducked Pascal. He didn't return the
Oh
smack
my
contract.
god! Wow.
But here's what I think is really going on. So, uh, Here's what I think is really going on. So I was on Twitter and I was watching the exchanges between Eddie Hearn and what's his name, fucking Ludabella. They said that Boazzi didn't return a signed contract because Pascal wasn't like registered for VADA or some stupid shit. Okay. Ludabella debunks that by showing an email that shows that Pascal's whereabouts have been registered with VADA, so it's all good. And then the same afternoon, we see an update that none other than Callum Smith has sent Boazzi a contract. And I'm like, oh shit. I think Hearn is trying to set Boazzi up to get sacrificed to Callum Smith because at 175, Callum Smith looks like a fucking knockout machine. And I think that he wants to get him a good win. So either they can make Callum Smith versus Canelo or Callum Smith versus somebody else. 'Cause Callum Smith was supposed to fight Beterbiev or some shit. So I think they're trying to get him a good win so then they can maybe have like a Canelo versus Callum Smith 2 situation at 175 since Canelo's not going to fight fucking Bivol and he's not going to fight Beterbiev. I think that's what they're trying to do. So he can go from like Ryder maybe and Smith as his next two for the contract or fucking Smith Ryder whatever, but I think they're going to do that.
Man, Canelo just pisses me off with just all these low level opponents, and it's just like you get paid all this money, but let that be like Devin Haney, Deontay Wilder doing that. They'll be saying, "Oh man, like why are these black fighters getting paid like 45, $50 million a fight? Do just fighting low level opponents like that?" And it's like there's like no backlash. Like it doesn't make any damn sense because it's like Canelo knows he gets his ass beat up from all the black talent from 147 all the way up to 175, hands down.
Shit, not only that, but he can't seem to fuck with these Russians either. So like he can't like fucking I mean Triple G is Kazakh, but yeah, like these Eastern European Central Asians, you can't really fuck with them either. So yeah, like you're running out of Western European dudes. So I feel like Hearn is trying to set Boazzi up to get him sacrificed because Callum Smith, I'm not gonna lie, he looked good. He looked good at 175. At 168, he was fighting like a little bitch. But now at 175, he's fucking knocking dudes with one punch. So I'm like, oh shit, Boazzi. And keep in mind, Boazzi looked like shit his last fight. Boazzi looked like shit. His last fight was Craig Richards. He looked like shit. So I'm like, man. So I'm like, oof,
Yeah.
man, Boazzi.
Um. I guess that the final thing is for for the Shakur Stevenson card. Do you see Keyshawn Davis having a good performance, or how do you think this fight's gonna play out?
I'm actually looking up the card right now because it's tomorrow, right?
Yeah, there's like a lot of good talent on the card.
Oh shit. Okay, I gotta make sure I get my food and shit early so I can just be
You
set.
got Floyd Cashflow Diaz. You got Keyshawn Davis. You got the rematch between Jalen Phillips and Antoine Cobb. To which I don't think he's that good. I think Antoine Cobbs is just garbage.
I don't think Cobb is garbage, but I mean, he's only had two fights, so we'll see. But no, who the fuck is? Oh yeah, Keyshawn is fighting. Can do is 25-5. Okay. 25-5,
Yeah,
18 knockouts. Okay, it's not terrible, but like these dudes, they're all big. Like he's only mostly fought in Mexico, so he ain't gonna fight and shit. Yeah, I mean, I expect you to look good because that's why they bring these dudes in. A nobody ass dudes fought nobody, so I expect him to look good. Jahai Tucker fighting 11-2. Okay, I'm good. Uh,
yeah, Jahai Tucker.
who's
Yeah, Henry Moncho LeBron. He's going up against Andy Vences.
oh,
I think that's going to be a very good fight.
yeah, yeah, that is good. 'Cause I like him and LeBron. And they got Bruce. They got Shushu going up against whoever that is. He's gonna get smoked.
Yeah, he's going up against that Chilean dude, Jose Argel.
Yeah, but I like Floyd Diaz. Floyd Diaz has legitimate talent. I like to watch him fight. He's very entertaining. good. I mean, he struggled his last time out, but I think that might have just been happenstance. But yeah, no. I mean, I do expect Shakur. I do expect Keyshawn to have an excellent performance because as this person hasn't done anything special. They seem to have a lot of punching power, but so does Keyshawn. So I expect him to handle it like he's supposed to handle it. It's his sixth fight.
Yeah,
How many?
yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to watching this card. I think it starts at like what 10 o'clock Eastern Standard.
Damn, it's supposed to 10 o'clock at night. Huh.
Yeah, I mean, if it's gonna start at 10, then that's gonna be a pretty, you know, pretty late card. But I'm pretty sure it starts at like 7 or 8 o'clock. But I'm not too sure. Like, what time does the actual undercard begin?
Yeah. Well, I gotta make sure I got some wine left around here. So I can have something to drink on. But yeah, no. I mean, yeah, I expect Keyshawn to do well, and I expect Shakur to do well. And I'm telling you, if something crazy happens and there's either like a draw or a majority or a split decision or some shit like that, I'm gonna be talking shit. I'm gonna be talking shit because I tried to tell people. People like, oh, Shakur's the next this, the next that. I'm like, okay, cool. Based off what?
Yeah,
Based off what? Like,
yeah, yeah. But I think that's about it. Do you have anything, to say or?
no, I don't know. I mean, thanks for having me on, and talk to you next time.
Yes, sir. Can't wait for this weekend. That we got um, um, I believe Joe Joyce and who Joseph Parker, right? And
Oh shit, that is this Saturday, huh? Yeah, I
they
got
go
JoJo's knocking Parker Smooth the fuck out of here.
yeah, like Amanda Serrano. She's a co-main event. I know that she's
Oh,
unifying with that Danish lady, Sarah
oh,
Mafood.
oh! I didn't know that was.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was on the same day. Okay.
Say again.
I said I didn't know. I didn't know that was all on the same day. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. She'll be the co-main event.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully she beats her. Yeah. But I appreciate the chop session, and until next time.
Absolutely. You have a good one.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man. Yep. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate, Mr. D for hopping onto the panel and just chopping it up on some good boxing. And yeah, man, that's about it. I'll see you guys soon. And I'm gonna head over to Ricky's channel, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Bye.